Good morning, guys, gals, all of you fine peoples out there. I know, surprise, surprise. I made another video, or I'm having another live. I give the chat a few minutes to catch up, a few people to click on here before we get into it. I know I haven't been keeping up with the YouTubes and uploads and lives and hey Teresa, thanks for stopping by. I haven't been keeping up with the algorithm, so I'm sure this isn't going to go out to very many people. You know, if you don't play the YouTube games, well, you don't get to play on YouTube. But in light of all that's happening, well, good morning, Mr. Metal. How you doing up there, buddy? In light of all the goings on, I thought I would get on here and do a little rant, a little talk, give my opinion on everything. I mean, holy shit, all of the goings on, my goodness. And as many of y'all know or understand, I can get pretty opinionated. Hey, Steph. And chat and comments are open. Y'all are not going to hurt my feelings at all. Whether you agree, disagree, or got your own sentiment, please do join in the conversation. It's really probably the only truthful gauge that you can get anymore. Hey, y'all good? And I have kind of shied away from YouTube. I still watch a little bit every now and then, but it has just really, man, I don't even know what to call it. Holy smokes. I think probably 4 or 5 of the 10 videos that I watched this morning were either a creator putting up somebody else's content or AI content. The possibility of you actually finding some real good content from an original creator nowadays, freaking impossible. Well, we got 70 down here today. It was a little chilly last night. I threw a couple of logs on the fire to warm up the house, but it's hovering about 70 out there now. What's going on, JW? Yeah, I kind of used to like YouTube, and man, it has just become so much crap lately. Between the fake crap and the regurgitated crap and just crap overall. I don't know, I lost a lot of interest in it. But it's like most stuff with me, it doesn't hold my interest very long. Hey, Melissa. Yeah, I still get on and watch a few when I can. Seems when I'm on, none of the other regulars are on, so I catch some of y'all every now and then. I don't know, guys. The whole state of everything it doesn't surprise me in the least little bit. I mean, I ain't gonna say that I saw all of this coming, but I've been telling y'all for years, shit's only gonna get worse and worse and worse. I sat around last night and actually tried to, hey, NCK, sit around and think up some good things that are happening. And really, I just couldn't come up with too damn many. I mean, in all honesty, some good stuff just here at home in the good old US of A. You ain't even got to bring in the whole damn world shit box into this situation. Hey, Mr. Coyote. Or coyote, I don't know why the hell I said coyote. I don't know, guys. It all seems insane to me. I mean, here we are in 2026, and look at the world around us. I mean, the overall big picture is shit ain't changed in the last 5,000 years. You still got the rich and the elite slaving away at us peasants out here. What has changed? You can't get on YouTube and make a comment that you ain't got 40 trolls on there trolling you. I like to get on there and troll a little bit, but hell, just speaking the truth that we live in every day. People they live in this imaginary make-believe freaking world that just doesn't make any sense. I don't know what. Oh yeah, that's part of the dumbing down of the system, NCK. And that's the whole title of my video is, that's it, the dumbing down of society. They have got people so stupid nowadays that, it's unbelievable. I don't know how most of these people made it to adulthood. It's crazy. I guess they've made it because of that give me mentality, give me, society. Hey, Joe. And the masses don't understand survival. Hey, Wendy. They don't understand. They can't wrap their head around how hard it really is. And, there are different levels of that survival mentality. And, because living on the streets of Manhattan or Seattle or wherever, New York, is a lot different than survival out here in the middle of bumfucked Egypt where I live. You get into that whole break away from the system and, all these different genres of off-grid and homelessness and and I can speak from experience. I've been through all of that. Pretty much homeless, drug addicted, on the streets, a worthless piece of shit. To, successful business owner, self-employed. I've been down both sides of that street. It is amazing how our society and the world in general is gone downhill. We haven't improved. I mean, we've been here for 5,000 years and we're still doing the same old bullshit. Your ground is more holy than my ground. My God is better than your God. I want what you have. I don't want to do shit. I want to sit at home and let everybody else take care of me. The situation of being able to go and work an 8-to-5 job and come home and have a home to come home to and take care of your family and all of that, that dream has been dead for 75 years. What's going on, Smith? Your parents' parents lived that dream, and beyond that, hey, Pilgrim, I just don't see it happening. You know, one of the last videos I put up kind of explained the debt situation, hey, RMA, and proved to everyone that tuned into that video the facts of what's happening. Just with that simple ounce of gold and that stack of cash. Hey, Nana. Every day, your money, value of your money depletes. And the rich elite, whoever you want to call them, the elitists, the government, they are the ones that have got us here to where we are. And I know some of you in the audience out there are going to be Trump supporters, and I doubt there are very many leftists that hang out on my channel, but whether y'all want to see the truth or admit the truth or live in the reality that we are, Trump is not helping our situation. Please, someone in the comments tell me where it's improved. And I don't want to hear none of this bullshit about look at all the fraud they found and, that kind of stuff, because what we see, what the government allows us to see, no matter where you get your information from, some other YouTuber or CNN or Fox, or I don't give two shits where you get that information from. Every bit of information that you get is information they let you know. That's it. That little bit of information is disseminated out, and everybody picks up on it and runs with their own little story and their own little opinion. Which is great. We all have people on YouTube and personalities that we like to watch and, get some news from. I mean, is it really news? It's just kind of what's going on in the world today. And it's all really total crap. And the truth of the matter is, everything that is happening is beyond any of our control. There isn't a damn thing that any one of us is going to do that is going to change what is happening. And your opinion of what is happening or what you think is going to happen or your speculation on it, really, I could care less. It doesn't matter to me. You're entitled to your own opinion and to believe whatever it is that you want to believe. If you think Trumpy is going to pull us out of this shithole and make the world a better place, cool. I don't care what you think. It's sad to me that you think that way and believe that way. That you can't see the truth for what it is. I mean, it's been a few minutes now. I ask you, please tell me something good that is happening. And I ain't seen nothing roll through the chat there. Every single subject that everybody wants to talk about is, oh man, You know, people talk in future tense, like these things are gonna happen, and you know, the digital ID is coming, and you got to avoid the digital ID, and don't get your real ID, and don't get this and don't get that. Living in a world where you are already digitized, and every single thing that you have done for the last 20 years has been digitized. Let's just round it off and say the last 25 years. In 2020, most of you had a cell phone. I mean, that's, you know, the computers became a household thing, and you all got your Facebook account and your AOL account, and you know, it was just the latest, greatest thing, and cell phones, and they were in everybody's pocket, going everywhere with everybody. And all of us at the time not realizing that they were capturing all of that data. Even 25 years ago, all of that data was being collected on your credit cards, your text messages, your pictures. Hey, Valerie. Everything was being collected. Now, they didn't know what the hell to do with it back then. Yeah, they knew that they needed this data and they needed to do something with it. But technology, you know, the mainstream technology had not caught up to that part of it yet. The mass majority of people out there think that Trump is the one that has brought in all of this AI technology and all of these data centers and all of that. You know, they've been working on those things for the last 20 years. Well before that, probably. It's just now that the technology has came to fruition to where they can disseminate all of that information. All of that information that they have stored for the last 25 years. Don't you remember when Facebook and Google were building those data center barges? I mean, you know, they didn't want to spend the money on land, so they were building these barges that they could move around. And now with the technology, you know, they have disseminated all of that information. I can guarantee you every single person that is going to watch this video right here has a little file. Whether you believe it or not, you have a little file with your little name on it and your little social security number. And they know everything about you. Everything electronic that you have done in the last 25 years, they know. You ain't hiding jack crap. Okay, yeah, the few guns that you bought off of the street or the few ounces of silver you paid cash for, blah, blah, blah. That is small potatoes and drops of water in the ocean of life. You are already digitized. You already have a digital ID. And whether you know it or not, all right, when that police officer pulls you over and you hand over your driver's license and he goes back there and swipes it through his computer, that is already all tied into Palantir. I'm sure most of you are somewhat aware of Palantir. So now, how digitized you are is when that cop runs your driver's license back there, he knows how much money you got in the bank, what was the last purchase you made on your credit card, how many weapons and ammo have you purchased in the last 15 years, probably where you've been in the last 30 minutes because they have the ability to pull up all of the cameras. Hey, do y'all realize how much data they're storing on you? I saw a flock camera come across the screen there a minute ago. You know, flock cameras are, again, just something that they told us that they were doing. out of everything that you know that's going on today, the whole Venezuela deal, the whole Russia deal, the whole Iran deal, the whole Israel deal, all right? You can just take the top 10 countries that we are fighting with. You can call it whatever you want, proxy war. Okay, that's cool. Just take the top 10 that we are fighting, all right? Imagine all of the other stuff going on behind those doors, all right? They let you know that we were bombing Nigeria. I mean, we were running airstrikes into South Africa. I don't know if we are anymore or not. I haven't heard in the last couple of weeks. But again, that's intel that they let you know. And if they hadn't told you, you would have no freaking clue that we're running airstrikes into Nigeria. They tell us exactly what they want us to know. You think all of those pictures they ran through of Maduro were by accident? Each and every one of those pictures were taken for a purpose and a cause. Can anybody tell me why he had on 9 different outfits in the first 7 hours that he was here, apparently? Captured, if that's what you want to call it? I mean, personally, I look at it as kidnapped. I can tell you, if somebody came into my home in the middle of the night and yanked me out of bed and put me on a freaking airplane and flew me to a different fucking country in handcuffs, I would consider that kidnapped. And I sure as shit wouldn't be giving the thumbs up for the picture and smiling as I walk by the camera. If you believe anything that the government is telling you, I got some oceanfront property in Arizona I'll sell you cheap. I know most of you in here are thoughtful enough to look through what is going on. You see past it, you see the bigger picture. Probably most of us in here are too damn old to do anything about it anyway. We're already set in our ways, we're old enough. I mean, we're getting into the 50s, 60s, you know, what are we gonna do about it? I ain't a runner and a gunner anymore. Yeah, great, get on YouTube and play like you're fucking Rambo and ask me if I give 2 shits. Nah, I'm gonna sit here on my couch and I'm gonna wait for you to come to that front door. That's how old I am. All of the latest, greatest bullshit in Minnesota. All of the, oh my goodness, they uncovered $500 million in fraud, and they, the damn daycares, and the, oh my goodness, they're on the Medicaid, and the, you realize that is a drop in the ocean. Literally. That's one state out of this whole country, and they have found so much fraud and, just it's rampant, and the governor's corrupt and the mayor's corrupt and all. No shit, really. You consider that breaking news that, the intelligent side of the public doesn't understand the corruption and the greed and the shit that goes on in our government? Come on. Yeah, Smith, the whole ICE agent shooting, blah, 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 American citizen, total bullshit. Most of you know, I really ain't a supporter of the thin blue line bullshit. But I can tell you, if you're so stupid that you're going to try and run your vehicle over an ICE agent or a police officer or a federal agent or any of that governmental official, tyrannical asshole, I don't care if you like them or not. You take your vehicle and act like you're gonna run one of those people over, and guess what you're gonna get? They're gonna blow your head off. Take your vehicle and try and run over me and see what's gonna happen. You know, like I said, I'm no great supporter of, the tyrannical police. I have seen and watched and know how they operate. But I guarantee you try and run one of them over, and I don't blame the guy one bit. And I don't give a shit if you're an American citizen or a Somali or a Russian or a Chinese. Run me over with that fucking vehicle and see what you get. I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. So exactly, Green Thumb. Fuck around and find out. See what happens. I think most of us in here are probably to the age that, I'm really to the point now that I just don't really give a shit anymore. I mean, I've lived a good life. I've had a good life. I've got healthy kids. It's great and everything. Yeah, sure, I'd miss my kids, but pull some stupid shit. See what happens. America's gone soft that way, They need their safe space and don't want to make ripples in the pond. They're all living a lie. Oh, I'm not going to comply with the system. I'm not going to do that. I mean, I've been watching some financial channels lately because I'll be honest with you, if you make any money or you got any money, the money that you have or the money that you make, those dollars need to be making dollars. Inflation or whatever you want to call it, the value of your dollar is becoming less and less. So if you're not making money with your money, you're losing money. That well is going to run dry. Exactly. I done been to prison once. I ain't afraid to go back. So how do you turn money into more money today? I mean, it is a legitimate question that I have been fighting for some time now because me and Ann are very blessed and fortunate, and we have a little money to invest, and I cannot come up with something to invest in. I mean, I went the other day and kind of been looking at some tiny homes. We got, 10 or 12 acres that's sitting around that we'd like to do something with. I mean, it's basically sitting there doing nothing. And so I went and looked at some tiny homes. And, I'm not a slumlord kind of motherfucker. I mean, if I try and provide a place for somebody to live, I want it to be, decent enough that I would live in it. And trust me, I've lived in some pretty bad stuff, but, I mean, you want a decent place to come home to. And I was having this discussion the other day on another guy's channel. And, everybody's got their different idea of a tiny home. And if you know anything about construction and the way things are built and stuff like that, there's a difference in a shed and a house. Now, you can call those differences whatever you want, blah, blah, blah. I'm not here to argue that sentiment. I know. I've built several of my own houses. I know the difference in a shed and a house. Can you take a shed and make it livable? Sure. There ain't no question you can do that. Is that shed gonna be a house? That's up for debate. But anyway, I was looking around at, some tiny houses. And like I said, we got 10 or 12 acres over there, so really I'd like to get one of these tiny houses and set each one of them on an acre of land. Give people a little room, a nice front yard, a little bit of privacy, out in the country. You ain't got somebody living up under your ass 10 feet away from you. And looking around at these tiny homes, it's something that I would consider living in, something that's got more than one window on it. And you're not, taking a shit 4 feet away from your dinner table. A decent little tiny house is around $50,000 or $60,000. And then granted, these are decent little tiny houses, lots of windows, living space, all different, aspects of it, a bedroom that you can actually stand up in, a full-size closet, washer, dryer, a tiny home, decent size. And you're looking at $50,000 or $60,000. Well, if you take that $50,000 or $60,000 and divide it up, over a 10-year period, because if you're investing commercially, you'd really like to get your investment money back in 7 to 10 years. That's the whole point of it. I mean, if you're going to spend this money, you would like to get it back. That comes up to like, $600 a month, bare payment on just that house. Now, of course, you have the land cost involved to set that tiny house. You have to have water ran to it. You have to have electrical ran to it. Sewer ran to it. I mean, the land needs to be, maintained, and there's a lot that goes into the other side of that tiny house. So, I mean, we've looked at it. I've looked at it. To set 10 little buildings over there on that other property and get that property ready with roads and culverts and electrical and sewer, I mean, it's going to be an $800,000 investment. So you got a $600 payment on the little house, and what are you going to consider the investment for that land is worth, putting in all this infrastructure? I know for a fact it's $150,000 to $200,000, and that's me doing it myself. So you got an $800,000 investment that you need to recoup, in 7 to 10 years to make it reasonable. I mean, you just break even at the 7 to 10 year mark. How much is that going to drive the rent up on that little tiny house? I mean, you got a $600 payment on the tiny house. What's all that land investment worth to an investor? $200 to $300 a month? I mean, again, you take the couple of $100,000, you divide it by the 10 years, 7 to 10 years, and you're looking at $200 or $300 a month. That's $1,000 a month payment for a tiny house, a decent tiny house sitting on an acre of land. And people want to complain about the $1,000 a month rent payment. It doesn't make any sense to an investor to invest or build in anything like that if you can't get your return back in 7 to 10 years. Yeah, well, we're gone of them days of the $50,000 houses. That's the discussion I got into the other day on a financial channel, and I caught the comments on some other lives about people are waiting around on all of this silver to explode, and their XRP is going to blow up and their crypto is going to blow up. I mean, my wife is one of them. She's got some crypto that, you're buying for pennies and pennies and pennies, and you're hoping one day that it's going to be worth hundreds and hundreds of dollars. It's the same way with silver. I mean, obviously, the silver is going up in price. We've all seen that. But what I don't think those silver stackers are realizing is, as that silver price goes up, what has all of the other prices done? Does it cost you more to go to the grocery store? Does it cost you more to insure your car? Yeah, maybe fuel's come down a little bit, but I mean, has the price of your electrical gone up? Sure, Pilgrim is manipulated. Everything is manipulated. But you're buying that silver. I'm going to go over to the silver shop today and buy a few more silver coins. Is that silver going to explode and someday be worth $200 or $300 or $400 or $500? Maybe. I could care less whether it does or don't, because I know the silver price is going to be in relation to everything else that you are buying and paying for. If silver is $500 an ounce, folks, all right, that loaf of bread at the store is going to cost you $10 to $15. All right, your car insurance is going to be thousands. No, maybe I haven't gone yet. It's kind of early in the morning. I don't think he opens till 9 or 9:30. But I am going to go over there and get it today. For y'all out there wondering what I would consider a good silver price, a guy that I use around here is about $2 over spot. And that's pretty much for all of his stuff, his coinage and everything. But the discussion I was having with this other person was, they couldn't wait for silver to explode because they were going to cash in and go buy their dream home. Go get their little place in the country, their little house, blah, blah, blah. They're going to wait for the market to fall out of the housing and for the housing to go to nothing, basically, and for the silver to skyrocket. They were going to cash in. That mentality tells me you don't understand what's going on. Housing may come down a little, but those days of the $50,000 or $100,000 home are gone. There is too much demand for it. There are too many people willing to pay more money. And now you have many, 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 many investment firms like BlackRock. Go ahead and get this video cut from the YouTube feed. But, that are buying these houses up. It's not something that is going to happen. It's already happening. That's what I don't get and understand about most of these people talking about what they think is coming in the future. It's already here. I mean, you don't want to accept the fact that World War III has already started. Just because bombs aren't dropping over here on our soil does not mean it hasn't started. The first thing that should have told you that there was a problem was when all of the trade war started, all right? And much of that was going on long before the powers that be told us there were problems with the trade wars. And most of that has pretty much happened since COVID. All right, just a mere 5 years ago, people. Don't you remember 5 years ago it was the world pandemic and they were welding people inside of their buildings and, put on your body condom to go outside and, oh my goodness, just a mere 5 years ago. Look how easily They shut down and changed the world. The whole world. Oh, I know. Sit back on your YouTube channel and say you didn't comply, you didn't go along with it. Blah, blah, blah. You did comply. You did go along with it because you're still here. Trust me, I took it pretty serious too. I packed up my family and we got the hell out of town and moved out here to the middle of freaking nowhere. Shut the gate on the property and lived pretty minimalistic for a while. I was quite impressed with my wife. She did so well. Now, after a few months of, the world didn't end, we did get a little bit closer back to civilization, but it's just crazy the amount of shit going on. I mean, I don't know how many of you have heard of Technate or the technocracy, or what are they calling it now? What's the Monroe Doctrine, or what's Trump's got his name for it now? Blah blah blah. Whatever. Y'all do realize that back before, since the 1900s, okay, early 1900s, probably late 1800s. All right. They were trying and putting into place and working a plan so that the whole North American, pretty much Western civilized world of America would become one country. All the way from Greenland and Alaska and Canada and US and Mexico and Panama and Venezuela and Colombia. Y'all know about that? Did you study that in history? Do you remember it? Just 100 years ago, they were making the plan. And look, here we are 100 years later, and look at what is happening. Like I said, they're in this thing for the long term, guys. All right? I know most people out there are living paycheck to paycheck, and they can't plan a month ahead. These people, these elitists, these families that control the world, all right? Go back and do your history on the Rothschilds. The first known documented was back in the 15 and 1600s, okay? That family has been around for 500 to 600 years, all right? Implementing their will upon the people. It didn't start in 1900 with Mr. Rothschild. It goes way, 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 way back. And just like now, the word is Agenda 2030. That's 5 years, people. They have plans for 100 years from now, 200 years from now. And don't be thinking that the Monroe Doctrine or the North American Agreement or, Technorate or whatever the hell you want to call it is a plan that they've just given up on. Go back and look at it, 1900s, and here we are 125 years later, and what's happening? Well, pretty much from the tip of South America down there, all the way up to Greenland, all right, they're talking about the same stuff. Canada becoming the 51st state. We're going to buy Greenland. We're just going to take Greenland. We're already running Venezuela. I mean, we just go in there and abduct their ass out of the middle of the night because we got the biggest, baddest military, and who's going to do anything about it? What are you going to do? Be sure and go cast your vote there on the midterms. You got to get Trump back in there so they can continue doing what he's doing. You know? By golly, if the Republicans lose the midterm, they're going to try and impeach Trump. They've been throwing that fucking word around, impeach, ever since Clinton got his rocks off in the Oval Office in there. Who was it before that? Impeach. What, didn't they get Nixon? He goes way back before most of us were even alive. And the bigger picture of it goes way, way, way back before any of us were even alive. It is, oh man. NCK's right, there ain't a damn thing that any one of us is gonna do about it. I don't give a shit how many of you go down there and vote. You ain't gonna change what they want happening. I mean, you ain't even gotta get into the whole left-right fucking paradigm, people. Two wings of the same bird, blah, 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 blah. Oh, man. Now, the hottest topic I've seen in the last week is, you know, we got the biggest, baddest military on the planet, and we can go into a foreign country and abduct their leader and have his ass out in 30 minutes, okay? And we can't tell me how many people have been arrested. All right, since you've been an adult, how many of these politician, political, government assholes have you seen arrested and spend time in jail or executed for treason against this country? Hey, Deb. I know we all like to think good things and, you know, smoke that big bowl of hopium in the morning that something is going to happen, but nothing ever happens. And I can guarantee you that nothing is going to happen, people. All right? Just in the last little remittance 10 years of your life, Trump's first term, all right, as big a show as it was, we can all agree that, you know, the Democrats pretty much ran a train on him. From the CIA to the FBI to the whole entire government pretty much ran a train on Trump. All right? Not only did they get his ass out and put freaking Biden in, but now he's been president for a year, and how many of those people, all right, that were involved with running that train on him have gone to jail? What, they went down there and told Comey he had to come down there and give his fingerprints? What, you gonna accuse Clinton of something now? Trying to have the conversation the other night on somebody else's channel about, you know, oh, Venezuela's, you know, Maduro's part of it, the voting machines in Venezuela. You know, the 2020 election. That was 6 freaking years ago, people. What the hell are you going to do about what happened 6 years ago? You can't do nothing about what happened yesterday. Your hopium bowl is way too big if you think they're going to change what happened 6 years ago. Oh, I know. They stole it from Trump. He's going to get to run again. Let me just tell you, if they make it okay for Trump to run again, all Obama has to do is step out of the shadows and say, guess what? I'm back. And I can assure you that Trump or anybody else is going to lose against that asshole. And they just continue on their charade. It was 70 down here this morning, Deb. It was kind of cool here in the house, and I had a few ashes left in the fireplace, so I threw a couple of logs in there to let it burn off here in the stove. I ain't got the fan on, so it won't get too hot. They ain't in hiding, Pilgrim. They're on the back of their yacht drinking champagne and eating caviar. Those people have stole enough money from the United States that they don't ever have to worry about anything again. And anything that does, any of those names that you want to mention, all right, Obama is immediately absolved from any of his crimes because he was president. Clinton too. And Mrs. Clinton, as far as that goes, because she was far enough up into the political game that she can get all of that done too. And it wouldn't surprise me one bit if Trump himself did not sign their freaking pardon if something were to happen, because they are all buddy-buddy. I want to play it up for you on the screen that they're all against each other, but I can guarantee you they're all drinking and eating at the restaurant and smiling and shaking hands and, man. Hey, Youper, how's it going up there, buddy? Well, I know how it's going for you. It's cold and white, probably. And I appreciate all y'all guys coming in. I know y'all understand what's going on, and I'm preaching to the choir here, but that's the problem that we are going to face, because the masses out there are too stupid to see it all. And really, you get too much younger than us, you know. I'd say probably now any less than 40, and they already have that generation, all right? Anybody less than 40, they've already got. That's what I call the video game revolution, because when I was young, you know, we didn't have video games. We still played outside and, you know, came home when the sun went down, that kind of stuff. You didn't talk on the phone. You wanted to talk to your buddy, you go to your buddy's house. But you get in any younger than me, and, you know, that's kind of when the video games came out, and it became an instant, well, just start over kind of situation, and everybody got a trophy, and everybody's included, and you can be what you want to be, and look where that has got us. Holy shit. It is crazy, man. It's crazy just to think about the amount of shit that they tell us, all right, that we know, whether you want to call it conspiracy theory or news or whatever, just the amount of stuff, you know, that we know that's happened in the last few weeks, the stuff that's going on. Imagine all of the stuff that we don't know. Imagine all of the stuff behind the closed doors. What happened to a month ago with all the aliens and everything with the 3A1 Atlas comet that was coming through? Sending out all the signals and, you know, I mean, it was big hoopla. All the big YouTube channels were running the aliens with 3AI1 Atlas. Well, what all happened? Nothing. I can guarantee you, if aliens flew by our planet, they would look down here and say, you know, all of the aliens around the universe already know humans are stupid. You need to stay away from that blue marble right there. That's the thing, Smith. It's all just freaking hype and click and, man. Shit, I'm even disappointed in much of the prepper community. I mean, you tune into most of these damn prepping channels now, and these fuckers just look like hairy fucking bears. I mean, They're looking pretty homeless and scraggly, and, you know, hell, I don't think they've had a beard cut in freaking 25 years. Holy shit. I didn't know you had to freaking, damn, I could have swore I saw a chipmunk in one of these fuckers' beards the other morning. And ain't none of them discussing anything about what are you gonna do? I mean, I'd like to come on here and try and give some information or help somebody with, you know, what's going on, whether that be financially or emotionally or, you know. I know Shad was having a discussion the other night. I couldn't tune in but for a few minutes, but, you know, talking about preppers and the understanding of preppers, and I don't think most preppers catch the big picture of everything. Yeah, it's great. Okay, you grow gardens and you got some chickens, and hell, you may have a cow, and you got your little homestead and your land is paid for and blah, 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 blah. You know what that means? Absolutely zero crap. You still can't take care of yourself out there. I guarantee you, there ain't a single freaking person on YouTube that is 100% self-efficient. The fact that they are on YouTube tells me they're not self-efficient. Because if you're self-sufficient, you ain't got time to be on YouTube making videos. Especially 2 or 3 a day, keeping up with the YouTube algorithm to get paid to make your little bit of money. It's a full-time freaking job. The biggest reason why I ain't worried about getting paid or, you know, uploading every other day or I can't do it. I ain't got time to do it. YouTube could never pay me enough money to sit there and work and have a full-time job doing YouTube. I ain't that kind of person. I'm pretty freaking unsocial, actually. I told all y'all back when I started my channel, I had some calling within inside of me. I don't know what it was. At the time, you know, I thought it was the good Lord getting on there saying, spread your knowledge and, you know, help a few people and get the word out. And that's what I did. But after 3 or 4 years of doing that on YouTube, it just, you know, that desire isn't there anymore. I have reached a lot of people and got a lot of views and put up a lot of information on homesteading and prepping in general. But also in that 5 years that I have been on YouTube, all right, y'all have seen our family go through several $1 million worth of investment and payoffs and successes in businesses and land development. I mean, I have tried to show y'all that along the way. It's insane, man. It's, you know, I guess, you know, YouTube has its good points. I have met a lot of good people on YouTube. Interesting people, good people, kind-hearted people. But they're, you know, those good people, I ain't gonna say they're, you know, for the majority, most people on YouTube aren't good, but we all have the kind of people we like to hang around, that you click with, that you understand, that, you know, they're on some kind of intelligence level. I'm sure I would make friends with a lot more of y'all if, you know, the opportunity was there. And I know to many of y'all, I'm just some other jackass on YouTube, and, you know, you go on about your business through the day and don't ever think or worry about me or nothing. And that's cool. I don't know, just as the mass general population, as a country, as society, as a world, species, I really think we're doomed. And that doesn't mean that I think the world is going to come to an end tomorrow. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of bad shit happen, but for the most part, it's going to continue as is. The elitists are going to control the peasants. You're going to do what you're told, and you're going to do what you have to comply. They've already ran that test, and they see, that the majority will comply. Because really, in the world that you live in today, 51% control the other 49%. Most of the people out there want to consider themselves law-abiding citizens, and whatever the government says, okay, and they can pretty much say and do whatever it is they want to do. All right, the great founding constitution of this country has been twisted and rewritten and subjugated to their change and their whim. And the law is not on your side. And don't be thinking just because you live out in the middle of nowhere that you ain't going to have to abide by that law. We live in a small county out here. 4 years ago, when I built my RV park, I didn't have to ask permission from anybody. I went out there and I built my RV park and my business as I saw fit. And it works pretty good. But now, in 2026, as of January the 1st, for me to add on to that other piece of property out there that I own free and clear, that's outside of the city limits, I mean, we're talking out in the country here, I got to go to the county, and it's got to be approved by the county commission. I have to get an engineer to draw up all of my plans on where everything is going to be, and the pipes and the electrical. I got to call in the state, and get them to come do a flood evaluation assessment on the property out there, okay? In total, it comes up to about $35,000 in permits and fees and all of this other kind of shit that I got to have to build something out on my own piece of property. Well, what can I do about that? Nothing. Can't do a damn thing about it. Ah, well, I know. You could have went over there and, went to your city council meetings and, got the vote out and went around and knocked on doors and told everybody not to vote for this and overruled your county. Bullshit. You ain't got time to do all that. You got to go to work every day. You got a family to take care of, a farm to take care of. You can't be out there smiling, rubbing babies and shaking hands. So even out in the middle of nowhere, it's going to affect you. Just like everybody's worried about the digital ID coming in. It's already here. Exactly, NCK. The counties are all tightening up. They know that's where their income is. And it ain't just here, it's everywhere. Every county now. They want to know what shed you got on the property, if you're going to build a porch onto your place. They've even asked me about the solar on my home before from aerial photos. They're out there taking pictures. They want to know everything you got going on so that they can tax you at the end of the year. I don't want to hear no bullshit about not paying those taxes either, because if you own any fucking thing or want to have any semblance of life, you're going to pay taxes. You're already paying them. If you work, they're taking it out already. If you go buy something, you're paying taxes. And I don't give a shit if it's a pack of smokes at the store or 100 acres of land. There's tax. And the whole American population can wish and dream about Trump saying he's going to do away with the taxes. That went over real well, didn't it? Made you feel warm and fuzzy inside. What's more important, taking away all of your income tax or going down and invading Venezuela? Take a little poll here. Out of the 23 people in here, what would you rather your government be working on right now? Eliminating your taxes and the IRS or invading Venezuela? I can tell you what 100% are going to say. They did away with tax on food. Hang on, Art. Don't get excited, man, because I'm sure they have applied a tax somewhere else. You're going to go down and register your car this year, and it's going to be like $300 probably. Or your property taxes are fixing to double. ARC is a good one. I mean, you know, ARC's kind of like me. He tries really damn hard out there in the middle of nowhere to do as much as he can for himself, to grow his own food. You know, do the hunting in the woods. Hell, for a couple of years there, he lived without running water on his place. But it's hard to beat that big old 50-pound box of bacon, ain't it, Ark? It's hard to beat going down there to the store and buying those conveniences. That's why I say there ain't none of us here on YouTube self-sufficient. And that's nobody's fault or blame. That is just the society that we were brought up in. By the time you were born and raised, very few parents out there gardened or raised chickens or churned their own butter. That was gone 100 years before you were born and raised. Mark's one of the few guys that I see, you know, he had a video up last night. The dude lit his freaking cigarette off of flint and steel. I mean, come on. I can guarantee you probably ain't going to find that on YouTube too much. A dude lighting up his smoke with flint and steel. When the world goes to shit, Ark is one that I want on my side. All right? He understands. He sees the bigger picture. He knows. Those people are invaluable assets. Knowledge and skill. No, the guy that sits around every day on YouTube and, you know, smoking his joint in the morning, having the chit chat, you know, the mere fact that you got time to sit around every day and have a live stream on YouTube, that tells me you ain't doing the things, as Northern Girl would put it. Do the things. I mean, yeah, it's great if that's, you know, how you want to make your living, I guess, off of YouTube, making videos. Sun and magnifying glass. Yeah, man, I used to burn ants that way. That was the good old days. Talk about fun, go find you a red anthill. That was back before we even had fire ants. The good old days, man. Yeah, the generations that we grew up in, what we thought was freedom, those are long gone, man. They ain't never coming back. Those times are long gone. Most of us in here, I know, y'all used to go out and play till, what, the street lights came on or till the sun went down. You better be home, you know, within 10 minutes of the sun going down. Your parents didn't give a shit where you were, how far you ran. You could go as far as you want, as far as you could ride your bike. No worries. Now most people won't even let their kids play in the front yard if they're sitting out there watching them. Hell no, you can't leave the front yard. Hell no, you can't walk down the street. All thanks to what? Hurry up and go down there and vote in them politicians. Whose fault is it? They are the ones that's pretty much brought all of this onto us. I don't care what side, left, right, up, down. They have brought all of this onto us. You don't think it wasn't a plan to open that border and let all of those people in here? At the current rate of deportation, it's going to take about 30 years to get all of these people out of here. Trump is deporting less than Obama was deporting. So if you think for 1 minute that all of this ICE and customs and immigration and border this and that are going to get these people out of our country, you're a fool. I mean, just in the last week, they've turned on the visas from Venezuela. If you just happen to be from Venezuela, now you can seek asylum. We want Venezuelans. I guarantee you, they want those people to come up here and get some education and get trained, and then they can send them back down there. I know the whole Venezuela deal was put off on, we got to stop the drugs, which we all know that's bullshit. 90% of the drugs into America are run by the CIA. But, everybody wants to think about oil, and it does have a lot to do with oil. All right, that's just one of the many minerals that Venezuela has that the West needs to be in control of. But for all intent and purposes, Venezuelan oil is not the oil that America wants to use. All right, it takes a lot of it to make the kind of fuel that we use here in America. There are much higher qualities of crude available and cheaper than us having to go down there and do that. And if you've been listening and watching the oil companies, all right, it would cost about $200 billion, all right, for some of our oil companies to go down there and refit and rebuild their oil system in order for that place to even make a profit. $200 billion. There ain't a whole lot of oil companies that want to go make that $200 billion investment without some kind of security guarantee. That they ain't going to get kicked out in, 4 more years when a different guy gets elected and don't want to maintain that contract with them anymore. They don't want to be out all of their money. Not to mention the fact of all the, it's all really old, Illinois. It's old infrastructure. It's a very heavy crude that comes out of Venezuela. It's pretty much like asphalt. Our refineries here in the United States are not set up to refine that kind of oil. Since, the 70s and our deals with the Saudis over there and OPEC, all right, and our deals to buy all of that oil from over there, our refineries over the last 50, 60 years have been built to refine Middle Eastern oil. There are many different types of crude oil out there, and our system is, for the biggest part, set up to refine Middle Eastern oil. So there's not going to be an immediate switchover from Middle Eastern oil over to oil coming out of Venezuela. We do use oil from Venezuela. And we've purchased a lot in the past. I mean, before all of this happened here in the last few months with Venezuela, there were 30 to 50 million barrels coming into our ports probably bi-weekly, every couple of weeks. I mean, our refineries can refine that oil, and we do have industrial use for it, but it's not the kind of fuel that you want to be making fuel from. Gasoline, diesel, jet fuel. It's much more of an involved refining process. So it's not the best oil. But down there in those regions, Venezuela, Colombia, Peru, Argentina, is very, very mineral rich. I mean, you really got to look back into history some. I mean, how many places on earth have had their industrial revolution? I mean, not really China. They've just become, into the picture of the last 60 or 70 years. I mean, half of Russia is pretty much unexplored Siberian wilderness. I mean, other than the Middle East over there, there hasn't been really a tremendous amount of industrial revolution in any of these nations. And the ones that have had it have assaulted their mineral deposits. That's why we are seeing the big push now to go into all of these other countries and get their minerals. We have mined the shit out of the United States. We have depleted. I know they want to tell you that it's not depleted, but we have depleted. We don't have the largest oil reserves right here in the United States. We've got some pretty big gas reserves. But, we've been pumping this stuff for the last 100 years. I ain't saying that it's out, but those resources are getting depleted. And we won't even get into the discussion of oil being the second most abundant liquid on the planet, and that Earth makes oil, or oil came from dinosaurs, or blah, blah, blah. We won't even go down that rabbit hole. But I guarantee you, you pump on a pond for 100 years, and you're going to see a reduction in that pond. Many of the other assets coming out of Venezuela are going to be gold and silver. Why do you think, if any of y'all have heard or haven't heard, why do you think JP Morgan just put in a bid to build a $6 billion silver smeltering plant? The only one in the United States. Okay, the only one that the government would grant permits to for the last 15 years. We don't really smelt anything here in the United States anymore. With the EPA regulations and fine and clean air stuff, it is much cheaper to send all of that shit to China and have it refined over there where they don't have an EPA and buy it back from them. It's just like Venezuela. They don't smelter very little silver. Even though they have some of the greatest deposits, all right, that have been discovered, all right, they load all of that dirt ore onto ships and send it to China to be refined because China has the smelters. And now all of a sudden, JP Morgan, being the biggest, largest American holder of silver bullion in the United States, just happened to get the contract to build a new silver smeltering plant in the United States. Magically within 2 weeks of taking over Venezuela. Where do you think all of that Venezuela ore is going to go? And since JP Morgan has already gotten caught once manipulating the silver market, admitted to it, and paid a $900 million fine to the U.S. government, how much silver do you think is going to disappear from all that ore in that smeltering plant? I mean, can you read between the lines now as to what's going on with that whole situation? Gold and lithium the same way. Is it just coincidence that every country we have bombed and attacked for the last 50 years is rich in oil and gas and minerals? What do you think is on Greenland that they want? Of course, they're going to tell you it's about national security and we got to keep the Chinese and the Russians off of it. I mean, Greenland is just being overwhelmed with Chinese and Russians. Greenland being one of the largest untapped continents left that we could have access to. Russia hasn't been through Siberia and figured out where a quarter of their gold and silver and gas is. They're one of the largest producers of oil and gas, and 3/4 of their country is still under snow and ice. You don't think they ain't got untapped reserves that they can't get into? Canada, pretty much the same way. Hey, RP, long time no see, man. I don't know if I just ain't getting your feeds anymore or what, or if you're still making videos. China, the same way. Much of China is untapped area. China buys most of their oil because they just haven't drilled for it. It's crazy, guys. The financials, the politics, the geopolitics, the prices, the inflation, the food, they've got us all already. I mean, I don't think that's what we all realize is they've got us all already. The younger generations, as I was talking about a while ago, hell, any younger than me, they live on fast food. They live on processed food. Whose fault is that? We all grew up eating Legos and Kellogg's and Cheerios, and I know we all grew up eating that same convenient crap. And that's how we raised our kids. Sure, stop by McDonald's. Sure, stop by Whataburger. Yeah, go to the store and buy all that processed pizza and processed meat and everything processed. And we've all been eating that shit for 40, 50 years. We wonder why the cancer rates are going up and the freaking obesity and heart disease and everything, autism, all intertwined. Don't worry, Mr. Robert Kennedy's gonna come in and save you from the big chemicals, you know, big pharma. That's the biggest crock of shit. I know most of you see it out there. It's the masses, man. It's the masses. Remember, 51% control the other 49, so they've got the masses on their side, believing in that left-right paradigm. Going out and living off the land and doing it yourself and being that 100% off-gridder and not having technology or vehicular or travel or, you know, the driver's license or none of that. It's less than 1% of 1% of people can do it. Could do it. That's why you never see any of them on YouTube. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that do it, and I ain't talking about the homeless guy living under the bridge, smoking crack, begging for dollars on the corner every day. There are a few places left in the U.S. that you could actually do that today. I would risk of saying there's probably only a couple of states that might be possible. And the area and environment that you are going to have to live in is going to be so inhospitable. That's why they don't do it today. Even all these bullshit shows that you see on TV about, you know, the Inuit Eskimos living in Alaska, you know, with their walrus skin coat and, you know, all of this shit. And yet they walk over there and jump on their freaking snowmobile to go ride to the hunting ground. Nobody's living like that anymore. Yes, you can be more self-reliant, less dependent on the system, but you're still in the system. I don't know, guys. What do y'all think? A few of you dropping out. Tell me, what's on y'all's mind? What do y'all? I know we ain't gonna change it. What are you gonna do to better your situation? I'm looking for investment, things to do. I'm 50 plus and still get up at 5 a.m. every day and still put in a, 12-hour day every day. I gotta say, Uper, I was impressed with your snowplow. You know, if you had to get up and later, Pilgrim, thanks for stopping by, man. If you had to get up every day and climb in that to snowplow, that ain't too terrible of a plowing situation. I can't tell anybody out there that living off grid is the way to go, because really you ain't gonna be living off grid. I mean, my farm is what I consider off grid out here just because we're not attached to the electrical grid. But my house, I have built in all, the modern essentials and amenities, but I wouldn't have built none of this place without the grid. I ain't getting out there and sawing up my own damn wood. Why do you think houses and cabins and homes were so simple back in the day? It was one square, and everybody lived within that one square. Probably just a few hundred square feet. How big are the trees around here that we're going to have to cut down? That's how big the house is going to be. And today, you can go to your local lumber yard and buy all dimensional lumber and screws and nails and electric guns and air tools and every modern convenience for windows and roofing and insulation and piping and running water and the modern conveniences of the grid. You live a pretty good life up there, Uper. I'd have to say, buddy, if it wasn't for all that white shit around you, I might come up there and visit, but me and the snow just do not get along. I really live in this area from choice. Long before I got married or had kids, I did the research and, I wanted an area with a long growing season and a short cold season. And I know a lot of y'all get along just fine up there in the snow, but it's really only because of our modern conveniences that allow us to do that. If you didn't have electricity or natural gas running to that house, all right, your means of heating are very slim. Wood and coal are pretty much going to be the only ways. I don't think many of you got a coal mine on your place. And there ain't a whole lot of you out there that live in a forest where you could cut down trees for firewood. And even fewer of us out there are going to cut that wood and then process that wood, all right, all by yourself to heat your house. Very, very few. So just simply taking heat out of the equation up there is pretty much, there's a reason why people didn't live in those areas in the old days. Modern convenience has made it all possible. I heard Mrs. Metal the other day, Christmas was over, holidays were over, she's tired of the snow. Yeah, me too. It would be nice and pretty to have a white Christmas, but when I get up the next day, I'm ready for that shit to be gone. I used to travel and have to deal with the winter times up north and snow, and it's all pretty and great when it's fresh snow and you get up in the morning and that shit's all white and the air is crisp, and I understand. But about 3 or 4 hours after that, when you've had traffic and the snow plows and the blowers and every neighbor shoveling, and it looks like a complete clusterfuck shit mess out there. Dirty snow, wet all the time, muddy as hell, cold, dreary, no sunshine. Nah, I'll pass on the snow. It's pretty for 1 or 2 days, and luckily I can assure you the weather is changing, because the winters down here in Texas for the last 10 years have been kind of screwy. I know most of you heard of Texarktica in 2020. I mean, that was pretty bad. But I like to see snow on occasion, but that's the good thing about down here. I mean, it snows one day and it is gone the next. I just can't do that cold weather, man. It's tough living in the cold. Hey, Blackbird. That's all right. We just chatting. I guess I'm ranting and bitching. Everybody's listening. I know y'all can't be disagreeing with me. Hey, veteran's wife. Oh, yeah, we won't even talk about the salt. Swamp ass ain't bad. You just don't wear underwear, NCK. That eliminates that. Looks like we may get a little sun today. It's trying to break out. That'd be nice. I need to get over there and mow Smith's yard. I don't know, guys. I'd say be ready for some big changes happening. I know it's gonna do this, it's gonna do that, blah, 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 blah. It's happening every day. Like I said, we see the tip of the iceberg of shit going on. Most of us are not even familiar with all of the laws and restrictions and codes and everything that has just passed and gone into effect these last, 6 or 7 days. Go pull up the list of the new laws and everything that were effective January the 1st. Oh, is the wind blowing out there? I didn't notice this morning when I let the chickens out. I need to get some of them leaves mowed up over there, I know. At least with the wind, it's got them all off of the trees, so. All of the digital money coming in, the digital IDs, it's already all here. Like I said, and as I discussed on the digital IDs earlier, you know, you get a generation much younger than me and nobody carries around any cash. Everybody's already on to the digital payment system, whether it's, you know, the PayPals or the credit cards or the debit cards or the phone pays or the Apple pays. They're already, you know, it's already here. Only old people carry around cash. You know, I still have that mentality. I'm going to go to the coin shop and hand that guy a $100 bill so that there's no record of me buying my coins. Except, you know, I'm on video camera going and coming and I'm in the store. Yeah, we'll see there, Mrs. Metal, you're in my age group. You get much less than you, and ask your daughter, how much money does your daughter carry around in cash? Does she pay for everything in cash? I think Cash and my son are like the plague, man. They're just like, you know, he's like, don't touch it. He ain't ever got no money, but, you know, he's 24, young, dumb, and full of cum, so I consider that pretty normal. But those younger generations are all on to the digital currency already. $100? Well, that'll get you a tank of gas today, I guess. $100 just don't buy what it used to buy. Yeah, you probably old enough there, NCK. You're just one of the few I would say that understand. You stay on her butt. Too easy with that plastic or credit card or phone thing. You ain't got to carry that nasty cash around. $2.17. Yeah, well, you know, that just really kind of makes me wonder, because where's all that oil and gas coming from that's so cheap? You don't think it had to do anything with the Middle East over there and OPEC dropping the price of oil per gallon, do you? Because, you know, there ain't no drill, baby, drill around here. Them pump jacks ain't a running around here. Matter of fact, I got a couple of guys in my RV park that work in the oil field, and one of them is laid off, and the other one's probably not far from it. So the oil fields around one of the biggest oil producing areas in the United States is pretty bare minimum right now. I guarantee you, y'all write down the day, take a mental note, I guarantee you right now, we, much less Venezuela, will not see $1 of profit from their oil the whole time Trump is president. What is going to happen when the next guy takes over? And let's not go too far out on a limb here and everybody say that it's going to be JD that's going to carry on the legacy, all right? Because we all know JD was bought and paid by Peter Thiel from Palantir. So we all know where that road is going to lead, but just say that it's 50-50. I mean, they're already talking about the midterms. We haven't even completed the first year, and they're already talking about the midterm. You know, if you're going to go out on that limb and say JD, you might as well go out on that limb and say shithead from California. What's his name? Pick any Democrat. You've seen how, Newsom, that's it. You've seen how Trump has used the power of the presidency and executive order. What do you think the next guy is capable of? You saw what the last guy was capable of. And it's going to take us 30 years to recover from that. Most of us won't be alive by the time that happens. And that's if no more come in. Most of us really have no idea how bad the immigration situation really is. I don't give a shit how many ICE agents you hire. You could turn every law enforcement officer into this country into an ICE agent, and you ain't gonna get out all of those people. I mean, you know, when the government is offering them $3,000 just to leave, just come back to the border and walk across and we'll give you $3,000. I guess that's about as good as the promise as the $5,000 you're gonna get from Doge, or the $2,000 you're gonna get back from all the tariffs. How much money have you been promised that you're gonna get back in the last 10 years? Well, let's say 5, because probably a lot of people got some money out there from COVID. The never-ending debt spiral of the United States. And you want to know how I know that's going to continue? Because the powers that be see the world war, the next world war coming. And it really doesn't matter how much money you spend or make up or zeros and ones on a computer or your national debt or whatever, because when the world goes to war, none of that debt is going to matter. Because to the winner will go the spoils. And if you win, if you're the biggest bully on the damn schoolyard, you ain't got to fucking pay for your lunch. Did any of you hear? I heard this morning Trump was going to up the military budget by 50%. We already spend $1 trillion every year, so now it's going to be $1.5 trillion. It all ends in war, sorry to say. They ain't got but a couple of ways that they can reset the debt from the rest of the world. And BRICS is causing a lot of that. That's, you know, the rest of those nations, a big portion of the world, folks. I hope y'all are realizing how big BRICS is. They're already larger than NATO. They got way more people, more assets, more minerals, and control more of it. And their currency is backed by hard assets, silver and gold. While they've been robbing, you know, us over here via fiat currency and, you know, whatever happened to the audit of the gold supply, of course, all that went by the wayside, making you feel warm and fuzzy. The rest of the world woke up to the fact that that paper dollar bill Federal Reserve note is backed by nothing other than a big bad military. And there ain't nothing that anybody's going to do about it. No other country. What are y'all going to do about it? We're the biggest, baddest military on the planet. What are y'all going to do about it? You want to start something? Well, over half of the rest of the world has said, piss on your military. We don't really care anymore. And we're going to do our own thing. That's driving the value of your dollar less and less. Less and less jobs, shittier and shittier infrastructure in our country, more corruption, more theft. Minnesota is but a drop in the bucket on the amount of corruption and stealing and thuggery and fraud in this country. That $500 million is pocket change nowadays, people. I mean, when we were growing up, $1 million was a lot of money. I mean, really, back then, our national deficit was figured in millions. I think, last time the budget was balanced was Reagan? Or did Bush do it once? I forget. We went from millions to billions to now, if you're not talking trillions, you're small potatoes. $500 million in Medicaid fraud in Minnesota alone. In Minnesota. I mean, come on. Imagine how bad it is in a place like Texas or California or New York, where the population is 40 times what it is in Minnesota. How bad do you think the fraud and corruption is? You want to talk trillions of dollars instead of millions, 500 million? That's nothing. And the masses don't see it. They don't see how that's destroying our country. The smart money does, the big money does. They've made plans for it. That's why it's all planned, it's all part of it. I don't know, I put up a little video the other day telling y'all guys, you ain't gonna beat the system. That's impossible. You're part of that system and you ain't gonna beat it. You can try and, I guess, check out of it if you want to, but you're gonna own nothing and you're gonna be happy. Which for some of you may be totally fine. I don't hold that against you at all. For me, my wife and kids, I like my own place, whether or not I have to pay taxes on it or not. I like owning land and vehicles and travel, and I like to try and use what little bit of that quote-unquote freedom we have left. Yeah, so what? You got to pay taxes. You're going to comply with the system anyway. I know you're complying with the system anyway, because if you weren't, you wouldn't be allowed. Go buy some food, you're taxed on it. Go buy some gas, you're taxed on it. Go get some health care, you're taxed on it. Own some property, you're taxed on it. We done been down through this, you're taxed on everything. Every single thing. Oh, well, we ain't gonna hold taxes on your tips and your retirement. You mean they taxed you for the last 65 years of your life and you finally got to retirement and they're not gonna tax you on the money that you already paid into the system that you were taxed on to begin with? Oh, well, yeah, Trump's going to eliminate that tax, which he didn't, was a bold-faced lie. And now we got the MAGA movement going, so they're not going to pay their taxes. Bullshit. The only people that don't pay any taxes are people that don't make any money. And if you're living off of the government tit, they're taking those taxes out of your government tit money to begin with anyway. The big reach around. And nobody, I don't know, is it this just that people don't see it or they don't care because they can't do anything about it? Well, my property taxes are only $200. I live out here in the backwoods of Kentucky. What's around there? Any jobs around there? Any industry? Any, what's there to do? Rent houses? No. Why do you think land is cheap out in Kentucky? There ain't nothing you're going to do. I mean, if it's bare land, you're going to pay for a little tiny house unless you're going to live in a shed, which you're still going to pay. I've only seen one guy on YouTube, Ark, I don't know if he's still in here or not, live 2 years without water. Go down to the creek and get your 5 gallons of water every day. Wash your own clothes out there in the water that you went and got from the creek. How many do it? I mean, like, really do it. Ark ain't no bullshit. That ain't no act that he's putting on. That ain't for the YouTube video. You can tell the difference. Yeah, JW, there's one. There's a guy right there. Y'all want to go see some hard living? Go check into JW's channel. Go look at the glorious van life that all of these YouTubers put on. Oh, I'm going to go live in my van. I'm going to, it's all great. I got this freedom and this and that. And it's just so, non-expensive life. You can live off grid. Ask JW about how expensive it is living off grid in your van. And JW's a good dude. He's one of the most kind-hearted people that I know. Yeah, sure, Smith, exactly. Go get you that new $140,000 Mercedes van. There you go, back to the system. You know who can afford those Mercedes vans? Those channels that got, 400,000 or 500,000 subscribers, or that, cute little daddy's girl that runs around in a bikini and takes her off-grid showers out there, clickbait. Those are the ones you see living the life. There's another dude I watch. Who the hell is it? Oh, Richie from Boston. I think he's got a couple of different channels. He's been Richie from Boston for a long time. And he's always got some conspiracy theory shit on there that I listen to every now and then. But, he's the same way. Dude lives off-road in his truck, pretty much. I mean, every other time that you see him, he's in a hotel, but... Well, hell no, they don't, Smith. That's part of the thing, man. They make their videos and edit to where it looks like they're waking up and living in this freaking van, and yet they're checked into the freaking Hilton parking lot. But people buy it up, man, the masses. It's just like the preppers and the homesteaders. I mean, they want to make it look and sound so great and glorious, and you're raising all your own food and doing all this, and it's cheap, easy living. Bullshit. I don't know a single one on YouTube that does it 100% self-sufficient. Raises their own food, their own meat, their own vegetables, chopping their own wood, building their own house. I mean, living without a car and without electricity and fetching their own water, and there ain't none of them doing it. None. Zero. To me, being older, off-grid has a totally different meaning than the younger generation. I mean, when I grew up and you talked about people that lived off grids, I'm talking about a dude that drove his truck to the end of the road, got out with his backpack, and walked off into the motherfucking woods. And that's it. You got what you can carry in, and that's all you got. Ain't many of them can or will do it. Yeah, I still ain't ever received a update on that video. Back when I first started, I told all of the preppers and homesteaders to make your own chicken sandwich at home. as in hatch your chicken from an egg and grow that chicken the full 8-9 months it's going to take big enough to eat his ass. Grow your own garden with your own wheat or corn to make bread. Grow your own lettuce and tomatoes. And make me a chicken sandwich from your farm. Ain't nobody giving me no update video to show me it could be done on their farm. And consistently at that. I talked about chicken numbers before on some of my prepping videos. And for all of the people out there that got 5 or 6 or 10 or 20 chickens that think that they are going to live off of chickens have no idea. That is my first sign to tell me they got no fucking clue as to what they're talking about living off-grid and supplying their own food. I broke these numbers down before. It's pretty damn simple. How many times a week do y'all eat chicken out there? I mean, it's become a pretty staple part of a lot of people's diets. And I know many of you live out there that do a lot of hunting, so you can supplement your diet with other meat. But for the big majority of people living in society, convenience and modernism, chicken is a big part of your diet. And not that it's, too bad for you if it's natural chicken. 52 weeks a year, what do you eat chicken? Let's just say 2 times a week. That leaves 5 more days of something else you're going to have to eat. 2 days a week, 52 weeks, that's 104 chickens just for 1 year. Well, halfway into raising those 140 chickens, all right, or 105 chickens, you need to hatch and raise the next 105 chickens for next year because it's going to take a full year for those chickens to get ready. So now you've got 210 chickens. I can assure you, I have many years raising chickens, that not all of those chickens are going to live. Whether it's disease or they kill each other or you got predators or, 10 of the other reasons that something can happen to those chickens, you're going to lose a certain percentage. You just want to say 10%? 210%? Add 20 chickens to that. So now you got 225 chickens that you got to raise every single year. Now you need somewhere to store 125 chickens that you're going to process in 7 months, 8 months. Where are you going to keep all those chickens? Because they're ready to eat. I mean, dealing with between 200 and 300 chickens per year just for you to have chicken twice a week? There ain't a single YouTuber out there doing it. Yeah, you can have a few chickens and you can eat eggs and, blah, 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 blah. Chickens don't lay all year long. Not if you're raising them natural free range, all right? So that you ain't getting an egg every day. That becomes a numbers game too. How many's in your family? You got a family, a wife, kids, 3 or 4 people. Each one of them eating 2 eggs in the morning. Maybe a couple of eggs, hard boiled for lunch, and then, something else with eggs in it at night. You're going to need about 20 eggs a day. Well, if you got 20 chickens and not each one of them lay an egg a day, you're short on eggs. So let's just bump it up to 30 chickens, hoping that you get 20 eggs a day. Now you're dealing with 30 chickens, and you can't eat none of them. Yeah, raising your garden, growing a garden, that's great, man. I mean, if you have the area and the knowledge and the will and the work ethic to put in and grow a garden, good on you. And for anybody that does it or has done it knows the difference in store-bought versus home-raised garden vegetables. But you can't grow it all. I don't care where you are. If you're lucky in the South, you get to grow some citrus, some fruit. If you're up north, you ain't getting jack crap. You sure ain't growing it for yourself unless you're going to build a big greenhouse. There ain't too many oranges that grow in Illinois. There ain't too many bananas growing in Wyoming. We can only do so much. That's why we always come together in communities as people. Because I do this and they do that, and the next person does this, and you got the blacksmith over there, and this guy doing that, and this guy, you come and with everybody's consistent help, the community gets along and grows and prospers. That mentality has, gone away in the last 100 years. It ain't about helping each other and people now. People live in communities and cities for the convenience and the job. That's where the work is at. You want to work, you got to go to town. You want to have a homestead, you ain't going to make any money. My homestead out here, y'all know what we got. We got a little bit of everything. I try and do a little bit of everything out here. It doesn't make any money. Could I spend every day 12 to 15 hours a day here working my farm and turn a profit? Probably. The benefit that you get from owning, maintaining, and running a farm is your self-sufficiency and the purity of your food. I know that my chicken down there that I eat is cleaner and healthier than any chicken you can buy at the store. And the cleaner, healthier, non-GMO chicken that you buy in the store only goes up in price. Whether it's at Walmart or Whole Foods, you want a better, what they call you quality of chicken, to which you really have no idea where that chicken came from. Just because they put it on the package, you're going to pay twice as much for it, trying to be healthy. What if you didn't have to pay for that chicken? What if you could just go down here to your garden and have all the chicken that you could eat? It's from your hard work and effort. What if you didn't have to go to the grocery store and buy all of those pre-made food packages in a box and in a can? Because what you have here on your farm provides your food. That's the return from owning and living on your own farm. But even having all of this, I still go to the store. I still buy laundry detergent. I ain't got time to make soap and laundry detergent every day for me to wash my clothes and smell good. There again, you'd have a soap maker in town. You'd have a blacksmith in town. You'd have a leather guy in town. You'd have, the gardener produce guys in town and the farmers that brought their stuff in every day from the farm. Everything is 100% commercialized, industrialized, most bang for the buck. The land has been stripped. It's, we're fighting an uphill battle, guys, and it's the people that understand and see it, the truthers, the preppers, whatever you want to call them, I don't care. It's just a very small percentage. And we're older. We're in that older generation, the powers that be that are thinking generationally and 40, 50 years down the road, they are not worried about us. They know that we're going to die off in the next 20, 25 years, and then who is left to remember how to do that? I'd bet $1,000 bill right here, right now, you couldn't go find an 18-year-old that could light a cigarette off a flint and steel. Uh, Ask JW how hard it is to start a fire with 2 sticks. I'm still waiting on that $100 payoff, JW. What people call self-sufficiency today is running down to McDonald's and buying a hamburger. I know, again, preaching to the choir, guys. A lot of y'all here hunt. You know, wouldn't have much of a problem living off of the land if you were given the opportunity. It's not our fault. It's all, it's what we were taught. It's what the public school system taught us. Most of us in here probably went to public school. Private school wasn't no damn better. They taught you the same stuff. That was just passed down from generation to generation to generation, and the powers that be, again, the whole point of the video was to dumb down the peasants. They didn't teach none of y'all how to balance a checkbook in school. They didn't teach none of y'all how to start a business in school. They didn't teach none of y'all how to prepare your taxes and get away from taxes in school. Hey, TLR, what's going on, man? They didn't teach none of us that shit. And most of us growing up, and I can only speak for men because, I ain't a woman, but, your dad, as he grew up and learned all those hard lessons in life, he told you as his son all of those hard lessons. He tried to tell you and teach you. And as men, we were all dumbasses. Man, I'm 16. I know better than my old man. He's just a dumbass. He don't know nothing. The world has changed. He don't know nothing. Yeah. Little did we know, 20, 30 years later, you'd sit back and realize, damn, my old man was pretty fucking smart. He knew what he was talking about the whole time, and I was just the dumbass that wouldn't take the advice and listen. They've got everybody in that chokehold, man, the 8 to 5. The system will work against your whole life on the 8 to 5. And being self-employed is only a little bit better. I mean, when you work for yourself and own a business, it gives you more opportunity to use the wealth that you make. Put it to you that way, because I can't tell any of you out there to try any kind of tax evasion or anything, but when you own a business, there are a lot of things that you can write off. And people that understand how to use money in that regard, that's what I was telling y'all a while ago, man. If you got $1, that dollar needs to make $1. And people that have money and wealth have learned that and used that to their advantage. And that's where you have to use the system to your advantage. You're not going to be able to do it on that 8 to 5. I don't know each and every one of you out there, but look at the position you're in. I mean, you need not look any further than yourself. Are you worried about paying the electric bill? Are you worried about the 30-year mortgage that you have left on that house? Are you worried about your car payment? Are you worried about your health insurance? Are you worried about where your next meal is going to come from? A lot of Americans are. And for the rest of the world out there, that's a dream. The rest of the world can only dream about having our problems. I don't know how many of y'all have traveled around the world and shit, but Most of the majority of the population in the planet lives in severe poverty. Severe. Mud huts and no running water. You would be surprised. I know it all looks great on YouTube in these big cities and blah, 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 blah. But when you get out into the countries of these second and third world countries, I mean, even some of the, nicer, more adept countries nowadays are severe poverty. The system has held everybody down. Just by those few families in control. They still control it all. They've controlled it all. They're going to continue to control it all. They ain't going to change that system. Every politician that you have in government up there is part of that system. They're getting wealthy up there in those positions. Why would they change it? Why would they police themselves? Why do you think you ain't seen nobody in handcuffs? We can go get the freaking president of Venezuela in and out with special military Delta Force 30 minutes, and we can't arrest one corrupt piece of shit out of Washington? Give me a break. If you believe Q-tards at any one given point that any of that nonsense is going to happen, you are smoke you some more opium. It ain't going to happen. There is no interest by either side changing what they have going on. And as the world stage is, and the majority of people believe, it is the left versus the right. And I can tell you, I told y'all before in my other videos, I don't care how far right into Trump, everything is good, the world is great, the pendulum is swinging, baby, and it's fixing to come back the other direction. What's going on, Ed? When that pendulum swings back the other direction, ooh-wee. Meanwhile, the whole time, what's happening to the people, to the majority, to the masses? Your money is becoming less and less valuable. Somebody look up the price of silver and tell me what silver is. I ain't checked on it in a couple of hours. Pick up your chickens. How many chickens you getting? You need to make a pen, come down here and get your pig. She's a big old girl. I sell them piglets for $100 a piece, man. You need to come get her. I got a breeding pair. You can have them. See, look here. Look how nice I am. Come on, Ed. I got a breeding pair, red wattle pigs. 196,000. Damn, you driving a truck? You back to driving a truck? I don't know, guys. Oh, well, I guess that's good. Something to pay them bills. Oh, man, damn. I saw you was live the other day. I stopped in for a few minutes, but I couldn't stay. I was driving down the road in and out of signal. I caught one of your videos the other day. You were working on your house in there. That's just like one of them little barn things you're converting into a house, right? How is it built? On 24-inch centers, or is everything 16-inch centers on the framing? Did you build it, or is it prefab?